Hi, so I wanted to do a very brief description of what we consider to be the foundation of a healthy diet. And keep in mind that this is not accounting for individual differences or needs. So it's not something where we're going to say, yes, this applies to everybody 100% all the time. But on average, if you follow this plan to start with, you are going to be like 90% of the way there in most cases. So first, I'm going to talk about, we're going to do this in macros, so to speak. So let's talk about carbs first. With carbohydrates, there are a few basic principles. The first principle is we want there to be more than twice as many vegetables as there are fruits in your diet. Not because fruits are not good for you, but because vegetables are so much better for you than the fruits. So, to be honest, the average person should probably be aiming for like 9 or 10 servings of vegetables a day and somewhere around 4 servings of fruit per day. Within those servings, though, we'll talk about fruits first. We want the fruits to be primarily focused on the lower sugar options, such as berries. Berries are fantastic, full of great antioxidants and phytonutrients, and not so high in the sugars. Whereas fruits like mangoes, for instance, are really, really sugary. And that's not to say that they're always bad for you, but they really shouldn't be a staple in your diet, right? And that's basically the fruits. On the vegetables, which once again should be over double what you're getting in terms of the fruits, you want to focus on the complex carbohydrates, right? Which is going to be things like cruciferous vegetables, including broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, that sort of thing. Also, the leafy greens are a fantastic source of vegetables. Spinaches, right? All the lettuces, that sort of thing. And basically any above ground vegetable is going to be great. So all the squashes are also fantastic here. To a lesser extent, you can also do the root vegetables such as sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, carrots, that sort of a thing. And generally speaking, we want there to be quite a few less of these types of vegetables as the above ground vegetables, but they can be a good option every now and then. And in some specific cases, things like beets are actually fantastic and should be increased. But once again, we're giving the general recommendations, not the individualized recommendations here. And that covers the carbs. Now, the next category we'll cover is the fats. With fats, we actually want a nice variety of sources of fats, but primarily, we want to focus on the really good saturated and monounsaturated fats. Why? Because this is where the average person in our society tends to really have it backwards and upside down because of what we've been taught as a society for so many decades that is inaccurate. So these saturated fats are really important for many different reasons, including your hormone production, the cellular integrity in all of your cells, and cleaning up inflammation, all kinds of great stuff. So the fats that we really like include avocado oil, coconuts, and coconut oil. We really like olive oil as long as you don't heat it too high. You can heat it a little bit, just don't get it all smoky and stuff because that makes it very inflammatory. And another one that I really love that people don't tend to get very much of is unrefined palm oil, which is full of wonderful vitamin A, vitamin E, and all kinds of other great stuff. And those four kind of make up what I consider to be a really great foundation for the fats. But you can also get some polyunsaturated fats primarily from your animal meats. So the chicken, the fish, that sort of stuff. But you want to really avoid the highly refined oils, especially the industrial seed oils, which includes corn oil, canola oil, sunflower and safflower. All of those things are really highly refined and really, really bad for you. Now, the amount of fat that you need, I don't want to give any specific like serving amounts or how much, but I would say that the average person that I've worked with tends to need an extra 3 to 5 tablespoons of these good fats every day, primarily because they just haven't been getting any good fats. So for your individual needs, I would just say make sure that you're getting plenty of them and get a variety, right? Do all of them. Get the fish, especially the fatty fish like the sardines, right? Those are a wonderful source of good fats, plus all the other benefits that you get from those. And then, getting the chicken and all that other meat also helps with the polyunsaturated fats, the saturated fats. Getting those 4 oils, coconut, avocado, palm, unrefined palm, and non-GMO palm, by the way. Olive oil, right? Going to be fantastic. There are some other oils that can also be really helpful, such as, cold pressed sesame or something like that. But the key really is to make sure that it hasn't been highly refined, especially if it comes from a seed, right? And that kind of covers the fats. Now, the proteins. Proteins are a very contentious topic. You have people on the kind of the bodybuilder fronts that are saying you need 1 gram per pound of body weight, or lean body weight, I guess it is. And then you have people who claim that we barely need any protein at all. I tend to fall into the camp of don't worry about it too much. But what I can tell you is that you want your proteins to come with fats. And in fact, you want your carbs to come with fats as well. But meat on the bone is one of the best sources of protein that you can get, because that means you're going to get lots of good fats with your proteins, and that's going to be very beneficial to how your body processes it. You don't want to go overboard with the lean protein. And that's one of the other things we've done in our society to really mess stuff up, is that we've gone away from the organ meats, which are just an excellent nutrient-dense source of food, and we've really started just doing exclusively muscle protein. So we're getting, these lean meats like ground chicken or just regular chicken that's not on the bone, chicken breast, that sort of thing. And all of that lean protein without the fats, especially in high quantities, can be really hard on your kidneys and your system in general. This goes quadruple for the protein powders, which most people really don't need. Those protein powders, once again, they're highly refined. They can be very inflammatory. They can be tainted with heavy metals and other kinds of garbage. And most people just don't need that. Maybe if you are a pretty serious bodybuilder trying to put on a lot of muscle, but generally speaking, not really a good idea for people. What is a better idea for people, though, as far as we know at this point, is collagen. And that absolutely is true when it comes to getting collagen from the source, which is why meat on bones, another reason why that's really great for you. But bone broth, which also contains a bunch of collagen, is fantastic. If you're brave enough, you can do those sardines again, or anchovies, when they've got the bones in them still. You literally can eat those bones, and it's going to be such a great source of not just the collagen, but also calcium and other things. But collagen powder, even, as far as we know, is still really good, especially if it was manufactured properly, meaning that it's not too highly refined. Once again, it didn't go through too crazy of like a heating process, that sort of stuff. So a gentle dehydration process. And they'll usually indicate on the label of whatever the product is how they made that. That would be a better option. The reason why I say as far as we know is that we would like to do some heavy metals testing to make sure they're not tainted, a way that a lot of the protein powders are. And as far as we've been able to find, no one's really done that testing. So we're still, kind of waiting on that. But for now, a well-manufactured collagen powder is excellent. Even better, or also equally good, would be gelatin. We love the Great Lakes brand for that. And otherwise with protein, keep it on the bone. Keep it within reason. Don't go nuts on it, and you should be in good shape. And that basically sums it up. We've covered the carbohydrates, we've covered the fats, we've covered the proteins, and I know that you probably still have a whole bunch of questions about these, but if you follow these very, very basic rules of thumb, you're going to put yourself in a much better place than the average person. And I'm saying this not just from my opinion or from what I've read about. This is from actual clinical experience. I've looked at tons and tons of blood chemistry profiles from people, and I can tell you almost without exception that if you are eating a low-fat, high-carb diet, your cholesterol, your inflammation, a lot of your different numbers are going to be kind of problematic. But people who are eating a lot of these really good fats that I've mentioned, and their carbohydrates are primarily coming from the complex vegetable side of things, their numbers tend to look incredible. They look really, really good. And that is really so much of the battle. So even without doing testing, you can probably assume that if you follow these guidelines, you're going to be in good shape. So hopefully that was helpful, and I will talk to you later.